So we used to live together, and she literally, so her bathroom, her room was like next to the bathroom, and she drilled into to mount the TV, and the screws are supposed to be like that long, and her screws were maybe that, or maybe the wall was thin, I don't know, and it went through to the bathroom, and since I had to get another roommate because she had moved out at the time, and I'm thinking, oh my God, there's a hole in the wall. He's going to think I'm like watching him pee or something. So I had to put like a picture over it. And to this day, I moved out and I'm in a new apartment now. To this day, I just left the picture there. All right.
We are friends from Craigslist.
Woo! Ooh, that was fire! Yeah.
What's up, folks? Welcome back to another episode of Friends from Craigslist. Please be sure to rate and review on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, wherever you listen. And of course, we're on YouTube. We're on Instagram. We're on TikTok. We're everywhere. You can't get enough. We have a really special guest today, and I'm really, really stoked he's here. He's got a brand new show out. Right now it's on YouTube. It's called Mask, No Mask, and it's probably going to be in a few other places too. He's the director, and I think he wrote a lot of it. I'm not cool enough. He doesn't talk to me that much. But, ladies and gentlemen, Sean Mcfadden. Yeah.
Woo! We need some sound effects here.
We do. I kept saying that this show was going to turn more, high maintenance. What's going on, man?
I'm doing well, man. I'm doing great. Thanks for having me, man. You doing great. This is phenomenal. I'm happy to be here. I wouldn't be nowhere else besides here right now, man.
Dude, I'm very happy you're here. It was a pleasure. Sean and I worked together on his web series that is out now. I don't think every episode's out yet. I keep checking. I think you put like one or two out at a time, right?
So episode 8 is out now today, and then episode 9 comes out on Friday. Tomorrow there's no episode because tomorrow it ends on Friday. That's the last one. So I kind of want I drop on every single day of the week. Keep the suspense going for people.
So we met working on his project because I did the music for his project, and it was pretty darn good. But before we get there, I just want to give you a moment to introduce yourself. Tell people where you're from, where you come from, what you do, and why.
Yeah, so I'm from the Bronx, born and raised. I actually was in Brooklyn for my earlier childhood, and I ended up coming to the Bronx. And then for a long time, I love football. It was my passion. It was my I knew I was going to go to the NFL, right?
Dude, when I met you for the first time, I was not sure it was you, but I looked at the guy, and you got out the car, and I said, man, fuck, this guy's either going to kick my ass or give me a hug. Because I could see, I'm scrawny. You could be a football player. There's always a fallback, You're good enough for the Giants, so.
It's not too late. Yeah, it's not too late. Funny story, my cousin is actually Lee Rusan for the 86 Giants in 87. He actually also played for the Raiders in 91 as well. So, it's a family thing,
Yeah.
And so, but for me, it was like, when I couldn't play anymore, it was tough. So I got into the business world as I kept getting older, got fascinated. And then when I graduated college, I just ended up doing business. I've been in sales for over 10 years. And then, as good as I was with it, I always loved film. I always kept calling my name. I had written a script, in 2016 while I was still working in sales. The sales manager, and people read it and they loved it. Now, don't get me wrong, there was a lot of grammatical errors, right? Rough draft, and people were like, I think the first 10 pages, I can keep up, and it was like, yeah, there we go, right? And it was really, it's good in terms of I had to push, from family members, people around me, close friends. Go for it, Sean, right, and try it out, see if it's your passion. And I did it, and they loved it. And then I couldn't let it go. I didn't start right away, but at that point, I had the confidence now I know that if I did do it, I can make it happen.
How'd you learn film if that wasn't even where you were like sales and football. I'm not hearing any film in your past whatsoever to come out here and be like, oh, I'm a film guy now.
That's correct, right? So for me as a kid, right, it's just cliche, but I used to love Rocky. I loved Rocky, right? Every movie that came out, Rocky 1, 2, 3, 4, I got the whole set, right? And it made me feel, it really inspired me as a kid growing up. Tough neighborhoods, you got to fight for yourself, and that itself kind of like, I always resonated to that, how powerful that film was for me. And just to say, hey, listen, if that can do that for me, and I love to inspire people, and in sales, you do that all the time. For me, I ran a team of over 50 people at Max, and they're a lot older than I am. And I'm trying to say, hey, you got this. You're in a slump, but you can continue going out there. Let's figure out what's going to work for you. And again, for me, like I said, that inspiration of seeing how a movie can do that and then doing that also with themselves, they also kind of say, hey, take your word that you have to say, write it down, show the world what you can do in terms of inspiring others. And that's where it all came from, that whole film thing. Like, I want to be a motivational speaker, right? And I was like, nah, I'm not going to do that, right? So I love storytelling. I always tell stories. It's like one of those things that you have a gift, you don't even realize you have it, you're just so good at it. And people are always saying, hey, you should do this, you should do that, right? So I've always been told I should do those kind of things, talk and speak, tell stories. And I just never, it was like, okay, yeah, whatever, I'm fine. I love football. I'm going to get these, And then I'm happy, I got business on my side. I'm going to take this, I got people who are very successful in this world. I'm going to follow their footsteps. And at a certain point, I realized I wasn't happy doing that. What made me happy was actually the passion of films. I don't watch TV shows. I watch movies because I love them.
Bro,
so
you could have taken the last 2 minutes and just answered that question with Pornhub. No, I'm just playing. I'm just kidding. That would have been, I swear, if that would have been like the genuine response.
That's our other podcast, Friends from Craigslist at Night. That's the other one that you got. Well, all right. I was gonna say, so I would assume Rocky's gonna be your answer of what your favorite movie is. But if you put Rocky aside, what is your all-time favorite movie? And then what movie, no matter what point it is on TV or whatever, would you watch it? Because there's two different answers.
Yes,
some you have to start from the beginning and the end. Some doesn't matter where it's at. Would you watch it?
The Last Samurai.
Last Samurai.
Right?
Ooh.
And the reason why for me is that it's deep. It's deep because this guy is really like, okay, so he's a warrior, right? And I resonate with that as a warrior, right? But he's compassionate as well. He'd rather learn from people to understand them first rather than to just strike them. And that in itself is like, that takes a lot from a person in itself to put yourself out there, rather than following orders. And he was defiant in every possible way to understand his enemy before he actually attacked him. And to find out he actually loves his enemy because his enemy resonated with him. He saw himself in him. And then because of that, he was going to be actually free. And that for me in itself is great. So that movie, I can watch that at any point it picks up from. It could be the middle or the last 5 minutes. I'm going to still watch like it's the beginning. So yeah, I love that movie. It's really good, actually.
Well, I wanted to get into my favorite web series. Your new web series, Mask No Mask. I wanted to know what the inspiration behind it was. So for people that don't know about this podcast, or about this web series, we just came out of a pandemic and we're still in a pandemic wearing masks. And Sean says, I think it's a good idea to put that on YouTube as a web series so we can watch people wearing masks. Why, Sean? Why do you constantly remind me?
I started to realize it's kind of does remind of all that's happening. But what inspired me to actually really write that was I went outside one day, and while I was outside, I was walking my dog in the height of the pandemic. I go outside and I'm walking probably 10 feet from the front of my building. And somebody walking towards me without a mask on. And I turn around. Somebody behind me has a mask, but they're holding it. And it was like, what am I doing? And I actually had a freak out. I was You know, it was COVID-19. My aunt passed away from COVID. You know, she had a heart attack because of it. And everybody else who went outside had that same kind of sort of experience, right? And then with it, there were some light moments, you know, in terms of this is happening to us, but look, no one's getting sick at all. No one's catching the flu. No one's getting a cold, right? There's good things behind this. But because it's so serious and it impacts so many people, I wanted to make it lighthearted in terms of some sort of comedy behind it in this new world. What happens 10 years from now if this continues on, right? If people continue wearing masks?
That's what I was going to ask. Is this sort of set, is it alternate reality, or is it more just like you said, like it's a few years down the line? Is that accurate?
It's both, I want to say. It's a bit sweet of both, right? And the alternate reality of people wearing masks because you have different upbringings, for instance, right? People who wore masks their whole life versus those who haven't. If you're 10 years old, it's 10 years in the future. So if you haven't worn a mask before or was born within that time frame, this is all you know. You know nothing else but this. This is your life. And then what happens is that the world's divided because of that now and because of this. And what it does is it kind of like just imagine what if it was like this, if it continued on down this and we really got the vision over, forget color, creed, race, and it was just mask unmasked, you know, and that was interesting, you know, and seeing how people react outside. You know, when you're outside, a mask, not a mask, people walk away from you. You know, they're more nervous now. People are more distant than ever, you know, and they're afraid of getting sick and dying because of it. And then at the point, it's like we were always like this, but it was never shown. And now it's being shown for the first time in reality for what it really is, right?
So has anything from your series surprised you? Like, is any moment that you captured in doing this that you were like, did not see that coming?
So there were a few times like that, actually, with my cast. You know, we rehearsed for 3 months. By the way, we shot this in November, still doing the pandemic with the restrictions still. And my cast, I want to say, they surprised me all the way through and through. When we actually got on set, and you'll see episode 7, we're outside and it's freezing. I mean, it is cold. I mean, you can tell by the smoke. It's really cold. And so I have a guy named Charlie. Charlie's actually, because a cop in this one, he had a cop outfit on, and he actually falls. He rolls, right? It's not in the script. He just starts running and he just plants one, and we all just starts laughing, you know. And we're like, wait, let's do that again every single time, all right? Let's keep going with that fall. Just fall and make it fun like you thought it for the first time every time. And we ended up getting it, and it came out great, you know. And it was really good, you know, the way the cast, the chemistry, but the way they were together. You know, they knew each other for 10 years or more. If they've been really childhood friends, and that in itself was just amazing, you know. The whole way it came together was actually a surprise, being that I have no prior background. You know, from the DP, from my ADs. It was a real set, right? People were blown away. Like, how did you accomplish this? I'm like, I don't even know. I'm trying to still wake up myself, you know, pinching myself, you know. But I realized it plays part of sales, though. You know, I put myself out there.
This is all right. This is something where I'm at, and I talk about it with Grace all the time, and it's one of the things that I'm most passionate about. So I want to find out how other people do it, so I can steal your ideas and make them my own. No, so I want to know. All right, what I find the most interesting is, yes, I agree with you. You have this passion, you have this idea, you're this thing that you're good at, right? You create this, you somehow get some funding for it. You save up your own money. In my case, I've always just saved up my own money, you know, and worked my ass off, picking up extra shifts. Like when I used to bartend, I'd just bartend 7 days in a week to be able to record my own stuff. And then you make this project, and now you have this project, you have your baby. And then now there's like that, there's that middle part of, okay, I can show it to my friends and my family. I can show it via whatever. I can put it on Spotify. I can put it on Instagram. How do you, or do you even have, or do you even want to? I believe you will probably want to go from, all right, my friends and family tell me I'm real good. Where do you go from there to, all right, people that don't know me are watching this and they're hitting me up and they're sharing it and they like it. Aside from the content, right? Obviously, the content's got to be there. The content's got to be good. It's got to be interesting. People have to like it, right? They're not going to pity share you necessarily. But if someone wants to pity share my music, that's fine.
Except for Rebecca Black got famous for that Friday song. Like, something to be said about, like, really bad content can also get famous. It's the end of the spectrum.
What do you think, or do you have an idea, or are you figuring it out of, okay, how do I go from mom thinks I'm cool, how do I get other people to think I'm cool? I think you're cool, so you're already on step one, and I'm not your mom, or we have a lot of questions to answer. But yeah, how do you take it to the next level of like, all right, I'm going to get some exposure? Because I know we spoke about this a little bit, and I kind of gave you my 2 cents. But ignoring what I have to say, what are you doing, or what do you plan to do, or are you just not sure yet, which is okay too?
No, yeah. So one thing that I got lucky with is that one of my cast members had an outlet from BronxNet. And then so I actually automatically took it. And then that's actually going to premiere in 2 weeks from now on BronxNet. I got lucky there, right? And I have 1 million plus people there, right? The second thing was I put it on YouTube right away. And at first I was like, okay, so how can I get people to start watching this, or the trailer for the most part? So, okay, I'll pay for some ads, right? And hey, what's the cool thing about that, right? You don't have to have a big bid. You could have $5 a day you can want to put towards it, or even $1 a day, right? And this shows you exactly impressions versus click-throughs of what you're going to get for your bang of the buck.
Did you do ads on YouTube, or did you do them on like social media platform?
I just did them on YouTube thus far.
Okay.
And it has yielded some good dividends right away. And also, outside of that, I market to everybody, my friends, my family members, my whole social media, right? One of the things I did right away was everybody in my contacts, I sent them the trailer to the YouTube right away. As soon as the trailer came, everybody I know, even if I just met you and I spoke to you one time, your number saved in my phone, I never called you ever again, you got the trailer, right? So anybody you know right away is what I did. And then even so, I submitted to Amazon. I'm waiting to hear back from them as well. I'm going to put on every single known possible platform you possibly put it on. People who doesn't watch a YouTube or who's not really up on Facebook, they can see it on Vimeo, they can see it on Tubi, because these platforms allow you to upload your videos, right? So the more eyes that see it, the more people are going to talk about it, right? And a lot of times, nowadays, in this world we live in, this media, social media, you don't have to have, again, a big budget for marketing, for advertising. You can just, again, word of mouth is very strong, and that's always been.
Now, because I'm sorry to cut you off. Before you left that thought. Now, because there's so much out there, is there a plan, or is there a way you think that how are you going to stand out? Because I see it myself. Because I, in a sea of white guys that sing, there's a very big sea. And it seems a lot of the ways in the music world is you work really, really, really hard, and you have good songs, and you make them happen. And of course, like you said, you put them out, you do your ads and things like that. I'm 100% on board with you on that. Now, just to get even more complicated and more annoying of a question of, okay, cool. Well, then how do you stand out? How do you get in front of, let's say, if possible, even not this project, even future projects, like the CEO of like Netflix? How are you going to get your stuff on Netflix? Or like, how would you get it into, and again, this doesn't have to be this project, just down the line,
Go ahead.
things like that. Do you have a strategy yet, or not yet? And you don't have to share either if it's a secret.
No, it's not secretive. I'll keep it both. Like I'll give you bits and tidbits that was important for people to actually use and actually move forward to. So one of the goals is build your social media, your presence. You gotta have something to bring to the table. If anybody's gonna want to talk to you, they have to be, what are you bringing as well than what I'm just giving you? Because I already have this. Can you match this or bring me more? And you're not able to do that, then people won't give you the time of day. So you have to figure out a way to build yourself enough of your brand, who you are, enough that people want to know more about you. And the more they want to know about you, the more you're gonna get out of them. They're gonna put you everywhere. From interviews to your trailers to when you continue writing more. So the way that I would typically do it again is to get to Netflix and itself is I would take personally a part of something that within the project itself. One of the best parts that people love, right? Because in the film, there's parts that we don't like and parts that we love. So the parts that we love, people are immediately drawn to. Put that out there. People to see. Right away, it automatically attracts attention. And as I continue going, have those people, for instance, talk about it to everybody that they know. You see, one person affects 3 people, right? And if you can get them strong enough to, if it's that good, people are going to talk about it. But you also, at the same time, you want to put yourself out there to anybody possibly could talk to, 3 feet from you. But to get to your question, to get to Netflix, you want to put yourself in the way that you're saturating the market. That you have so much content out there in the sense of people are for instance. So I got a song that's going to drop. It's called Get the Tomatoes, all right? Excuse me. And everybody who heard the song thus far loves that song. We're going to put a video behind that song, right? We're going to try to make it one of the bangers for the summer. We actually not going to try hard because it sells itself, right? And that's also a good thing. You want to have something that sells itself, right? You don't have to influence people to talk about it. Because the more hard work you put into that to make it do that, it's going to shine. It's going to shine, and you just got to constantly put it out and you can't stop. Put posters up.
Yeah.
Put posters up in your neighborhood, right?
Just put the work in, because I feel like once there's a very, very, in my opinion, you got to work really hard and you got to, like you're saying, you got to hustle basically. You got to hustle. You got to hustle more than the next guy. And then there's a certain time and point where you keep hustling, and there is in my opinion, there is a moment where there's going to be hard work and beats luck and being in the right place in the right time.
That's correct.
But I know we're running a little bit short because I speak too much. But I wanted to jump in, and I at the end of every podcast we do a segment called Lesbehonest. And now, Grace, can you tell the gentleman about this wonderful segment?
Yes, this is our segment where you can just release all your inner angers or feels about things that really just, as I think Family Guy said, it will really grind your gears. But whatever you can really just be honest about anything that's on your mind that's hitting you different these days that you want to share with the class.
So it's funny you say that. I got a few things, man. I got a lot of things, but I'll tell you this though. One of the things that really grinds my gears. I mean, I'll keep it in the film subject too because I think we all can relate to this, right? I'm black, by the way, if you guys haven't noticed this. All right.
Oh, shit. I thought it was just my resolution on my screen was dark. Oh, damn.
Does that mean I have street cred now?
God.
Don't worry, I'll give you some more points on that one, right? And then, so, for instance, right, I hate when you're watching, movies. When you're really invested in something, right? And then someone comes out of nowhere, start asking you questions. So what's going to happen next? Or they start talking with the movie. Come on, get out of there. And they're going to talk back. What are you doing? What are you doing? And for me, my whole life, my mom's is like the queen of this. Like,
Same. My mom does that every single time. She's like, "Oh, what happens?" And I'm like, "Just watch." I don't understand. Like, you're here. You have nowhere to go. Just watch. And it's like 10 minutes left.
It gets worse though. It gets worse because I feel cursed now because my girlfriend's the same exact way, but worse. She doesn't stop. All right, from the beginning to the end. I'm like, we're watching together. I know this about the same amount that you know. Let's wait.
I don't know. Maybe she thinks you're a filmmaker and you have some inside, thing.
Telekinesis or something going on.
Yeah.
And I feel like you can always just pause it and come back if you have to do something else. Like I was watching some movie with my girl recently, and we stopped because it was getting late. And she's like, "Oh, what happens?" And I'm like, well, "You know what happens? We watch the rest tomorrow. That's what happens." Like it's just so like, and I'm very passionate about this film, and I'm like, dude, like it don't work like that. And also, like, you got to see it to, you know what I mean? Or you know what you should do next time? You should just come up with the most wild shit. Like, oh, babe, what happens? All right, well, Hitler comes back, right? And you know?
Oh, that's the worst. She loves Hitler. She loves the Nazis. As a matter of fact, we just watched a Nazi
you're talking-
the other day. No shit. We really just watched it the other day. I could have sworn I watched the same one in Global History, and now I'm watching that home on leisure time. Like, come on, you know, I'm still getting lessons on this. But yeah, that won't work. that won't work. But I'm cursed. I feel like when it comes to that, as much as I love movies, someone's always going to interrupt me as I'm watching it, you know.
Well, I'm glad that almost took a very dark route. I was like, wait, she loves Hitler like Hugo Boss loves Hitler? Like she wants him.
You know what? Like she's fascinated with him. In the sense of like, he's being smart.
Yeah.
But not condoning what he done, you know, in those aspects, you know, he had syphilis and all other kind of stuff. But the fact that he was able to accomplish this, that no other man did.
Oh, he's brilliant.
Yeah, dude. All right, yo,
it's disgusting how he was able to manipulate the way that he did at a mass level. Like,
dude, the next time you're on the pod, it's gonna be a complete episode surrounding around Hitler. You got 2 Jews and a black guy, and we're gonna just do an entire episode about Hitler, and I love it. Dude, well, thank you for coming on, because I know I'm broke, so I only have the ghetto version of Zoom, so they're gonna kick us off. But
no worries.
but I will say, make sure everybody watch Mask No Mask. It's on YouTube right now. New episode at the end of this week, like the gentleman just said. And also all the links to the show, to Sean's Instagram, to all of his details are going to be in the description. Same thing for the audio on the YouTube and podcast audio. Just click on the info. It's right there. Dude, anything that I missed? Yeah, what I missed?
So in episode 7, and then it's the same guy, he's a gangster in this episode, and so he's gonna be in Power, which is on Stars, Chapter 3K. And in July, he was actually my first short film. I shot 2 films back to back within a 2-week span, right? And I've done before, right? And so he's gonna be out in Power in July. The same time I dropped my next project called Pains of Glory. It's a short film. It's about like 5-6 minutes actually. We're still editing it now. And he's going to be through the whole season. So you get to actually watch him in that before he comes on Power and Stars on July 18th. So you got to take a look at it. You know, we're doing some big things over here, and especially with Matt as well. So stay tuned, man. There's a lot in store for you guys.
Dude, that sounds amazing. I remember you told me he was on Power, and I was like, oh, shit. That's awesome.
Yeah, man, we're moving over here. You know, very
awesome.
You know, so
remember us little folk when you're, you know.
Oh, man, you big time. You got the smile and everything already. You know what I'm saying?
You just let them know. Remember, you were on that Hitler podcast, and yeah.
Don't make it haunt me now, man. Don't make this haunt me 10 years from now, all right? They're gonna cancel me out, all right?
No, I would just say it was Matt's idea. Matt owns a Hugo Boss suit, and he's a Hitler lover. And dude, all right. Well, thank you for coming on. We're gonna have you on again. Again, I want to remind everybody all his links. Watch Mask No Mask on YouTube. All the links are in the description. Sean, you've been amazing. Thank you for coming on and doing this.
Yeah, thank you.
I appreciate you, and we'll be back.